Lori with Rock & Co Crafts. I want to thank you for joining me. In today's video, I want to pour the Let's Resin rolling tray. Now, I've poured this a couple of different times before, but what I want to do on this one today is I want to use the technique that I used in the video Rainbows and Raindrops. If you haven't seen that video, I will put a link to it in the description box below. But I want to use that same technique and see if I can't make this tray look kind of like a galaxy. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I want to put the water drop technique. I do have a little bit of resin mixed up here. And I don't necessarily want it to look like water drops because I'm thinking about the galaxy, the stars, and the different sizes. So I'm just going to dip my stick in there and see if I can't just let it sort of drizzle everywhere. And then once this cures, I can go back. I'm going to go back in with some of the metallic chrome powder. I love that stuff. And then back it with the black pigment paste. The first thing I want to do is actually think about the galaxy and just I'm going to try to get a little bit of this down also, like in the rim. I don't know how successful I will be at that, but I'm going to try. And it does take a little bit of patience because you don't want to drop too much at a time. I have quite the line there, but I still think that might look okay once it's done curing. But I want all different sizes, big and small. And when I mix the black pigment paste, I do intend to put some glitter in it. And I'll show you some of that stuff as we go along. But the first thing I want to do is this, because it does need to cure for 24 hours. Now you can do this with UV. But I just have a little tiny UV light, and I think it would be tedious to try to cure each of these drops with the UV. So I would rather go ahead and do this and let it set and cure. I want a few of the bigger drops in here too. So let me see if I can just aim it and get a bigger drop. And again, I want to try to, because there are so many stars, I want to see if I can get quite a few drops on here without, I don't want it overwhelmed, but I don't want it underwhelmed. See if I can get some down in the rim there, because I do intend to brush the rim as well. And hopefully they'll just sort of slide down. And I know this seems somewhat tedious, but if it turns out, it will be well worth it. I love the way that those coasters turned out when I did the rainbows and raindrops. I actually put that in my playlist, my favorites, and I will put that playlist, a link to it at the end of the video, just because I love the way these turned out. I say that, but if I'm going to put the video, I don't know. I will definitely put it in the description box. And maybe I will go ahead and put my favorites playlist at the end of the video, just in case you're curious. I like the way these little dots are going here, like a stream. I don't know how well you can see it. I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of that over here. Because when you look at the pictures that they show online, or some television stuff. The galaxy is just beautiful. Or I say galaxy, it's really like the cosmos. Just so many stars, so many galaxies. Absolutely gorgeous. I feel like I need a little bit more over there, and I'm almost at a stopping point. We'll see. I don't want too much. I don't want not enough. I don't want a whole bunch of just blank either, because the sky, when you look up, when it's dark enough, it's just layered. So many layers of stars. Okay. And I hope this turns out. I haven't decided yet exactly what colors I'm going to use in the metallic chrome powders, but I'm definitely leaning toward like purples and blues and pinks, maybe some green. I just really do want it to look like something you would see through a telescope in the night sky. All right, I'm just looking here to see if I feel like there's any other place I need to add. I'm gonna add a little here because I don't want them to look just like polka dots. And I know you can't see very well the smaller ones, but they're there. Maybe I make some bigger ones. Because I really want it to the glitter to show through. Because the glitter is going to make it look like teeny, teeny, tiny stars. Maybe one more here. And it looks like I may need to put a little bit down in the rim here. Not a whole bunch in the rim, but I do want some. All right, well, it's hard to tell just by looking down here, but I have all different sizes. I don't want them to look like polka dots because when I come back into brush, and I don't even know what direction I'm going to brush, but when I come back into brush, I think it's going to turn out good. We'll see. But what I need to do is I do need to let this set for 24 hours to cure because I want to be able to brush without worrying about knocking the resin off. So I'll meet you back here when I'm ready to do the brushing and the pouring. I'll see you shortly. Okay, this has had an opportunity to cure, and I think I've picked out my colors. I still don't know what direction or whatever. It's just going to be whatever happens. What I do want to do though is I want to try to add some powder down in the rim, but not at the very top. Because when I do the pour, I want to do it in two different pours. This holds 300 milliliters. So the first pour, I want to cover whatever I brushed, allow that to cure enough because I know some of the powder is going to come up. And then do the final pour because I really don't want the powder to go all the way to the bottom or show in the bottom if at all possible. I'm starting with the Let's Resin. This is the purple metallic powder. And these powders, I just love them. And I'm going to try and get some down in that rim up to a point. I don't want it all the way to the top because I really don't want. Oh, these are so pretty. I really don't want it to float to the to the back of the tray. Oh, these powders. I just love these powders. They're so shiny and so pretty. Let me set that aside and get my brush cleaned off, and we'll see what color do I want to do next. Here's a dark blue. It looks like it says violet. It's really hard for me to read these little letters on here, but it looks like it's like a violet. Oh, it is pretty though. It is pretty. And I will come back in and burnish this after I'm done doing this. Oh, I got too high up there. I'm going to have some cleanup to do. But yeah, I will come back in and burnish it after I'm done putting these powders down. And then give it a good thump. And then I will have to kind of clean up around the edges, because if at all possible, I really kind of want it just kind of, I just want a little space where it's just going to be black and none of the powder floating up. Let me set that up there so I know what I'm doing. This is the light blue. And again, I want to kind of get in the edges there. And I will have to actually turn this tray all the way around to see if I'm getting the whole edge over there. But I'll check that when I get ready to burnish it. This powder, I just love it. And I may repeat some of these colors. I don't know. The purple for sure. I just love that. Let's do some pink, because the galaxy, the pictures that you see online or in some of these documentaries, they're just all different colors. They're just beautiful. And that's kind of what I want to do here. I just want to make it beautiful colors. Kind of a dreamy. Let's do some silver. I don't know that if I want to put a whole bunch of silver, but I still want the silver. I love the holographic, and the pink and the silver are both holographic in this set. Now, there's two different metallic powder sets that Let's Resin sells. I'm just waiting for the other one to come back into stock. Green. I guess I'm brushing it at an angle because that's what seems to be going on here. Then yeah, I'm going to definitely need to recheck the edges. Here's blue. Let me clean this off my brush first. So pretty. And hopefully I won't get any powder floating up through the very back, but it's possible that I do. Oops. More cleanup. And I have some, this is the rose red. I chose it over the red simply because it's a little deeper color red. I'm just going to put a little bit of that on. And then I'm going to go back to the purple. The purple is gorgeous. And I always second guess my color choices. I never know until the project's finished if I made the right choice. And sometimes that's not the case. Kind of get it up a little bit here. I love that purple. The purple and the red, maybe I shouldn't have put those by each other. But it's too late now. Do some blue and then maybe some light blue, and that may be it. The blue is really pretty too. They're all pretty. I just love these powders. All right, let's get a little bit of light blue here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some burnishing and check the edges and then give it a wipe. Okay, let me set those powders out of the way. And let me start by checking these edges. I'm going to move this around so that I can see. I don't necessarily want a whole bunch on the edge, but I do want some color there. Because, I mean, this is the bottom of the tray. I want the top of the tray to look colorful and pretty. All right, I just want to check to make sure that I have that filled in. Okay, I'm going to give it a good burnish. And I'm not pressing real hard because I don't want to knock my drops off. But enough to burnish it in there. And then I'm going to give it a thump and make one heck of a mess. Oh, but that is, unfortunately, it doesn't show up on camera as shiny and pretty as it is. It's gorgeous. All right, let me set this aside and get an alcohol wipe ready because I know this is going to make a mess. Oh, that side looks really cool. I love this mold too. It's a nice sturdy mold. Let me clean this up. I'm going to move this out of the way. And if you're interested in any of the products I use, I will put a link to some of them in the description box below. Let's get this cleaned up. Then I think I'm going to give it another good thump. So I want to get as much excess powder out of there as I can. That looks so pretty. So shiny. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to get another nice clean alcohol wipe here. I may need to get my tool. We'll see. Because I just want to wipe some of that off of the top of the rim. Or actually, it's the bottom of the rim. And I'm trying hard not to actually touch the tray part. But in doing that, I'm seeing that I missed a corner over here. I might check the corners. Okay. Well, what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and continue to clean this off. And then I'm going to mix up probably about 150 milliliters of resin. And I will mix some of the Let's Resin Black Epoxy Resin Pigment Paste into it. And do that first pour. So I will see you shortly. I mixed 160 milliliters of resin. I added 6 drops of the epoxy pigment paste and 6 spoons of glitter. And this glitter it's a glitter that was on sale at Michael's recently. It's called Glitz Brilliant. But it's a fine glitter, extra fine. We'll see how that works. It's the first time I've used it. But if you just look in the cup, it's so pretty. It is just so pretty. The first thing I want to do, though, is I want to try to carefully, and I'm so heavy-handed. I say carefully, and I do try, but I'm heavy-handed. I want to try to carefully just get some down in the rim so that I can take the dotting tool around. And I don't want too much. I just want a little, if at all possible. And take that dotting tool around for bubbles. Because the one thing I am definitely learning is if it has a rim on it, that's where the bubbles like to hide. And I just don't want bubble pits. Whoa, a little heavy there. Let me let that just work its way around. See if I need to add any more. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, let me stop there. And then carefully take my dotting tool. I don't want to scratch the powder, but I don't want bubble pits either. So I'm trying to maybe take the other side. That's a little tight squeeze in there. If there's any bubbles hiding, I'd like to just knock them loose. And I may give it a couple of thumps before I start putting any more in it too. That may help. And I'm going to get on the inside and the outside of the rim. And hopefully I'm not scratching my powder down there. I'm trying to go gently. All right, let me set that aside. I'm going to actually try and give it, because this is a nice sturdy tray, I'm going to try and give it some thumps. And then we'll finish the pour. And on this, I'm actually going to let it cure until it's soft. I don't want it even sticky, because I have learned that with this powder that I hope this is enough. I may have to actually mix some more. That's not cool. We'll see after it starts spreading. Anyway, I'm learning that with this powder, if you don't let it get soft, then it will continue to float up. I'm surprised. I may actually have to mix some more. If I do, I'll do that off camera, because you already see what I'm doing. Let me just give it some tilts and see if I can just get a thin layer on there. That's what I'm after. Yeah, I may have to. I'm surprised. I really thought that would be enough. Let's see what we can do here. Well, darn it all. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to mix some more and get it on there. I'll do that off camera, because you know what I'm doing, and I'll go ahead and just mix a little bit more, get it on there, because I want to dome it separately. I definitely need to write that note down. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and mix some more, get it on there. Hopefully it won't make a difference with the slightly different curing time. And then I will meet you back here when I'm ready to do the doming. So I will see you shortly. I'm ready to dome this. This is pretty soft. I mean, it's soft. It's not sticky, but it is soft. And if you'll notice here, some of the powder, even though I thump it, it still came up like in dots. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to wait to dome it so that that doesn't show up on the very back of the piece. Now I have mixed 140 milliliters of resin, and I have added the 6 drops of black pigment paste and 6 little spoonfuls of the glitter. I just love that glitter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to pour it all on at once because I don't have a whole bunch of room that I need to dome. But I don't want to go over and I don't want to be under. Let's see if I can help it spread a little bit just to see before I add any more. It looks like it'll hold some more. I'm going to just go around the edges a little bit here, just a little. I don't want an overflow. I don't think it's going to hold all that I've mixed, which is fine. I will use it in something else. But you never know. I never seem to get my measurements right. I struggle with that. I just don't want to go over. No over and no under. Maybe just be patient. Let it do a little of its own spreading. Got a little bit more to spread there, a little bit more there, a little bit more there, and a little bit more here. But it's still spreading, so I'm just going to be patient and wait and see. Now it looks like from an angle that it is domed, but we still have to wait for these little areas, just this one and this one. And I've also learned don't use alcohol on the finished piece because it makes funny designs in there, I guess because of the liquid. I don't know. So I'll just kind of watch this for bubbling, and if I need to, I will use, I have a heat gun that I can use or a long neck lighter. I also have like a little mini torch, but I'm scared to use that because I've already melted a couple of my molds with that. I've ruined a couple of molds. Let me just see if I can't get that to the edge. Just make sure it's on the edge. And yeah, at an angle, it does look like it is domed. So what I will do is I will kind of bubble set. If I need to take a lighter to it or whatever, I will. And then I'll meet you back here when it's time for the unmolding. See you shortly. It is that time. I want to just show you the back. That glitter is so pretty. I love that glitter. It's just like hues of greens and blues. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like on the other side. Let me see if I can get this loose. In the mold, it looks pretty cool on the other side. Let's see what it's going to look like outside of the mold. Oh, wow, 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 wow. That is so pretty. Look at that. I just love the way the glitter just looks like little stars inside of other stars. And I don't know. I really like the way it turns out. I think that this is just so pretty. Even the back, I mean, all the glitter in the back, it's hard to tell with the reflections. But all the pretty glitter in the back almost looks like little stars as well. Let me look around the rim here. Just kind of checking. It feels like I have one little bubble pit here. And one over here I can feel. And one maybe right here. So there are a few little bubble pits. That seems to be the thing with the rims. I really love the way this turned out. I love the powders. I think this is just, maybe it's not as galaxy as, I could have painted the powders on different. But overall, I love the way this one turned out. The shiny, shiny stars. I just love it. The different colors. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do want to thank you for watching and ask you to consider hitting the like, share, and if you haven't already, the subscribe buttons. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks.